Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite philosopher, Gura. I don't know if he considers himself a philosopher, but I consider him a philosopher. It's someone that I've listened to more than I've listened to anyone else. I've discovered his channel in 2017, and I haven't discovered a channel that I feel like is better than his when it comes to the nature of existence. What is existence? What is consciousness? What is the highest truth? Why is there something instead of nothing? I've never come across a channel that explores these ideas in a way that his channel does. So his channel became my favorite channel. If you ask me, what's your favorite channel on YouTube? I'll tell you that it's actualize.org. It is actualize.org. The reason why I'm talking about Gura today is because there is something that keeps on happening to me when I listen to his videos. I don't watch, I hate watching his videos. I just listen to what he's saying. I usually just play his videos when I'm sleeping, and I fall asleep listening to his videos. Something happened to me in 2023 when I was still at home. I was listening to my favorite episode from him. He ended up deleting that episode. I don't know why. Deleted that episode within he deleted that episode within 5 hours of uploading it. I don't know why he deleted it. But you can find it on YouTube. Some people downloaded it and re-uploaded it. Just search for Gura's lost episode or Gura's Solipsism. I was listening to that episode, and something that has never happened to me happened. I was 30 at the time. So what I'm telling you, it's never happened to me since I was born. My body started vibrating like a cell phone. When your cell phone is vibrating. So my body started to vibrate like a cell phone, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I'd listened to maybe for that episode for maybe the first 110 minutes of that video. Yeah, his videos are long, 3 hours long. So I'd listen to maybe 100 minutes of that video. So yeah, my body started vibrating. I was like, what's going on here? And I started to feel myself reaching higher levels of consciousness, starting to remember things that I'd never remembered before. Starting to remember things, and I'm like, what's going on here? The more I remembered things, the more my body vibrated. I wish I was sleeping with someone, because I really believe that my body was vibrating. I don't believe that was happening in my mind. I think my body was really vibrating. So as I kept on remembering things, I reached a level where I was like, you know what? I'm glad this is happening, but this feels like death. This really feels like I'm dying. I still want to learn a lot about this reality, because I'm still in it now. I was born already. Why not try to write it out? Why not keep on going? Because I'm already here. I've already seen a lot, and I can handle a lot of things that a lot of challenges that this life is going to throw at me. So why not? Why not come back? And I decided to let go. I did that myself. I don't know how I did it, but I could feel my body starting to vibrate less, and then I opened my eyes and I was like, what the fuck? That is crazy. You know how it felt like? I'm sorry to use this example, but remember when you first ejaculated as a guy? Like it's something new, something that has never happened. Like imagine if other guys didn't, or a lot of guys never ejaculated in their lives, and you had to explain it to them. You can't really explain it. It's like it's something. It's new. You can't really explain it to another, even if it's not you, even if you've it has happened many times, but to explain it to someone who has never experienced it, you can't really explain it. So yeah, it's kind of like that. It's something that I can't really explain, but it happened. It happened, and it was real. I'm telling you this because that happened again, and I was listening to his episode about dreams. I like his episodes about dreams, about consciousness, about solipsism, about God. I like episodes where he's asking the deepest questions about life, basically. These days he does upload videos, but he doesn't really touch on these like really deep topics about consciousness. I don't know why, and he hasn't been uploading a lot. But yeah, I was listening to his episode about dreams, and it happened again. I think this is like the 4th or the 5th time, that happened to me. But last night it was more intense than it has ever been. It happened again, and I felt as if that was it. Like there's no coming back, because I let it keep on going. It was like, you know what? This time I'm going to let it keep on going. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to make it stop, because I knew how to make it stop. But I was like, I'm going to keep on going. And I kept on remembering. And then I reached a point where I really felt like I'd reached the end, and I was about to wake up. And I was like, nah, I can always do this. But then, yeah, I told myself that I can always do this. So I was like, nah, let me not wake up. It's fine. I think the reason why it happens to me when I'm listening to his videos is because I'm very interested in what he's saying. So I don't really fall asleep when I'm listening to him, right? So it's like if you are meditating, because it's not easy to meditate, right? You might fall asleep while trying to meditate, but if there's something that is keeping you focused, you might actually reach a state of mind where something like that happens. I think there's been people who've been talking about vibrating when they reach a certain, like when they reach a certain state of mind, find that their body starts to vibrate. So I think the reason why it happens to me when I'm listening to Leo Gura's videos, because I'll be paying attention to what he's saying. So I'm not fully asleep. So it's like, it'll be like I'm meditating. What I like about Leo Gura is that, unlike many spiritual teachers, or people who call themselves spiritual teachers, or philosophers, or people who call themselves philosophers, he's very vulnerable. Even though he comes across as someone who's cocky, someone who's overly confident, someone who's certain that what he thinks is the truth, he also shows you that there is a part of him that still questions things. Like, yeah, he's sure that what he thinks is the truth, but there are things that he's not, there's still doubt. Like, you could never be 100% sure. And I think that is really, really important when you're trying to understand what is really going on in this realm. Like, there must always be doubt. I make videos telling you what I think this is, but I still tell you that you can never really know for sure. It's just that you have yourself to rely on. I look at it as if our time is up. Like let's look at it this way. Let's just say your time was up and they asked you what reality really is, and you had to explain what reality is. What would you say? So I kind of look at it that way. Like, I look at it as if my time is up. So what do I think is going on now? Like, what have I figured out now? What do I think reality is now? So I tell you what I think it is now. But I keep on growing. I keep on evolving. I keep on learning new things. So I do think that I must be confident that I have been doing the right kind of work, because I have been one of the most curious people that I know. In fact, I still haven't met a person who's as curious as I am. And it sucks, like, when you meet people and they don't have the kind of desire that you have for truth. They're just living their lives, talking about what's happening in the world without really trying to understand anything. I remember when Trump almost got assassinated. Next day, I chilled with a group of friends. They were talking about that. No one was asking questions. No one was like, what if the whole thing was staged? No one was like, but what are the chances that that kid could have missed him? How? And why did it seem like he was not that scared? We're talking about one of the richest people in the world. Of course he doesn't want to die. But dude didn't really seem that scared. He even raised his hand like this. I mean, can you imagine? Let me ask you this question. So someone shoots you in the ear. You don't know if it's just one person who was trying to unalive you. You are very important men in the world. You know that if they were to send someone to try to unalive you, it has to be a real professional. They wouldn't just send anyone, you know what I mean? And maybe they wouldn't even send one person, they'll send many people. Like, why wouldn't you be that scared? Even if they say, yeah, we're able to get rid of that person, wouldn't you think, hi, what if there's another person? Like, you will be scared. I don't think Trump is that brave. So, I'm listening to these guys that are talking and they're not asking questions. I'm like, how? I remember I spent the whole night going through different videos on the internet, even discovered a video of someone who predicted what happened 4 months before it happened. Like, he literally predicted. Do you understand how crazy that is? We're talking about an accurate prediction here. We're not talking about someone be like, the person that's going to win is this person, and there's going to be an assassination attempt, blah. We're talking about him knowing where the bullet is going to hit, how everything is going to happen. I think he even predicted that dude was going to do this. Why did I bring that up? I brought that up because that made me realize that people do not ask questions. So when I discover channels like actualize.org, I immediately fall in love with these channels, because these are the people who are trying to figure out what is really going on. It's not about what they are being told is going on. What is really, really going on? We do know that we live in a world, or in a reality, where there's deception, where things are not what they seem. So what I like about Leo is that he's very, very curious, right? I'm talking about him because I do think that if you want to realize what is actually going on, you must be as curious as he is. You must ask the kind of question that he asks. You don't necessarily need to believe what he says on his channel, but you must be as curious as he is. Because if there are people that you can trust, or if you want to trust someone, when it comes to like what reality is, it's people like that. It's people who are really curious, not people who are just listening to what other people are saying, or people who are privileged enough to be given a platform by this system. You know, people like Charles Darwin. You find that some people that are very famous that we have read about when we're in high school, they were not very intelligent and they've not discovered anything that's surprising. They were just lucky enough to be picked by the system, and the system made them famous. And if you want to trust someone, you got to trust the person who the system doesn't really like. I believe that the truth will always be hidden. Like, the truth will always be hidden. It's never going to be something very obvious. You know, life itself is like these movies with like a plot twist. It's like that. You must look at life that way. You mustn't look at life as if things are just obvious. Like, the truth about existence is obvious. You'll never understand what is going on. The same way that when you're dreaming, you never realize that you're dreaming. It's because you think things are what they seem. You meet your friend in your dream, and your friend is a little weird. Maybe he's taller than he usually is, and you're like, what the heck? Why are you tall? Oh, he come up with some explanation. Maybe they performed the surgery on you. That's why you look like that now. Or maybe you're always tall. I just wasn't paying enough attention. Like, you'd be making excuses instead of realizing that, oh shit, it's actually a dream. That's why something is weird, because that is actually weird. Like, you're not supposed to be taller than, I know you're my height, so what's going on? Why are you taller than me today? This reminds me of this video that I watched from this other comedian, just that I keep on forgetting his name. The movie, you can search for it. It's titled, another movie actually, the video on YouTube. It's titled but it's a short movie, so yeah. When you're obviously in a simulation. When you're obviously in a simulation, like, that's the title. You'll find it if you search for that. So weird things be happening, right? This dude looks at his watch, it's 5 p.m. Then he looks at his watch again, it's 4 p.m. and he's like, what? Kept making excuses for that. The weather will change and he'll make excuses for that. He would look at his favorite snacks and the names. The name had 2 O's and now it has 1, and you're like, what? Mandela effect. And then the guys that were controlling the simulation accidentally switched on their mic so he could hear what they were saying, talking about him. And then he said he had schizophrenia. Like, he kept on making excuses for what was happening instead of realizing the actual truth, which is that he was in a simulation. But that was too much for him, so he couldn't even think of that. Like, he's trying to explain reality using his current paradigm. Like, yeah, reality has to be something normal. There's no plot twist. There's nothing crazy going on. It's just what it seems. You must just believe the story that is being told. You must believe what is normal to believe. To truly understand reality, you must believe what's not normal to believe, what people will criticize you for believing. So guys like Leo, they are truly invested in like understanding what is actually going on. When I discovered this channel, I was like, this is me. Like, I looked at him and I'm like, okay, he's much older. Of course, he knows more than I know, but this is me. He's curious. He is as curious as I am. I'm just younger and I'm still trying to like I've just recently started to like understand what consciousness is, what dreams are, what reality is made out of. But this is me. Like 5 years from now, I will, understand a lot of things that he understands. So it's good that I'll keep on watching his videos. So it's weird that even now he's still my favorite. Discovered this dude in 2017. I've discovered a lot of channels since 2017, and he's like the only guy that I'm still watching. The channels that I discovered before 2020, I'm no longer watching those channels, but he's like this only guy that I'm still watching, and I still think that he's doing the kind of work that needs to be done to understand what reality is. I remember telling you that to understand reality, you must understand consciousness. Like, if we can understand consciousness, I think we can understand reality. And not only will we understand reality, I think we'll have more power than we do now. Like, we'll have more power. And we'll find ourselves being able to make things happen that we weren't able to, do before. I don't know if there are many channels like actualize.org. If you know channels like actualize.org that explores the nature of consciousness, you can recommend these channels, because there is a lot that you can learn about yourself if you truly understand consciousness. So I do like watching those kind of channels. But there's something else that I've realized. If you really speak the deepest truth, there will be a lot of people who will criticize you, like who will be against what you are teaching. I've seen that with him, Leo Gura, with Till Swan, and these guys are not perfect, right? Leo is not perfect, Till Swan is not perfect, but they were criticized for things that don't matter. Remember, there's a group on Facebook. I forgot the name of this group, but it's about those who have survived Leo's cult, right? Like, some people will comment that, yeah, my boyfriend used to watch Leo Gura's videos, and now he thinks that I don't exist. He thinks that I don't matter. He thinks that nothing matters, and he's became toxic. Now it's crazy. Or, my ex used to watch Leo Gura's videos and he became toxic. Or I used to watch Leo Gura's videos and it messed me up. I started to feel like everyone else was not real, and because of that, I gave up on life and started suffering and all this. And you'd be like, not everyone is ready for the highest truth. Not everyone is ready for the highest truth. Not everyone can understand the highest truth. That is why people should consume the content that's on their level of awareness. Because, of course, if you're going to watch Leo Gura's videos or you watch my videos and you're not really ready, of course you're going to have problems. Imagine if you've never thought of solipsism and you watch my videos on solipsism. How are you going to handle that? Like, if I make a video that's based 100% on solipsism, you've never watched a video on solipsism before, you've never thought about solipsism before, and you watch my video about solipsism, of course it might It might make you look at life in a weird way, and even make you feel depressed. Like, what if what Benedictine is saying is true? And what does it mean? Okay, all of this is not real, so why should I care? Why should I do anything at all if none of this is real? It's not real, so I'm totally giving up because it's not real. Just because this is not real doesn't mean that you mustn't care at all. Of course, it's good to learn to detach yourself from a lot of things. It's good to learn to care less, but it doesn't really mean that you should just be like, I don't care at all what happens. I don't care if I get hit by a car. I don't care if I don't eat at all. I don't care if I don't bath. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you must destroy your life. Any knowledge that you attain, you can use it to make things better for yourself. I do believe that knowledge shouldn't be something that destroys you. I think it should be something that that gives you more power. So if knowledge destroys you, it means that you weren't ready for it in the first place. You see? Because knowledge is power. Like, knowing is important. There are people who don't want to know things. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't know if I'm dating someone, I don't want to know if they're cheating on me, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to know if they're betraying me. I don't want to know if... You will have less power than you will have if you know. You can decide that, okay, fine, I know that this person is cheating on me, but I still want to be with them. Yeah, my reasons for wanting to be with them for now, even though I know what's going on. You have power. You already know, like, you're going to heal, knowing exactly what's going on. You're like, okay, I know, but I'm going to let it be for now because I know what I'm doing. But if you don't know, you are very powerless. You're going to be shocked one day. But if you know, you're never going to be shocked. I remember when we were kids, we used to hide and then scare each other. Like, maybe you hide behind, maybe your sister enters the room and you hide behind the sofa, and she sits down, and then you're like, oh, you scare. If I knew that she's in the room and I opened it and I don't see her, I would know that she's going to try to scare me, so I wouldn't be scared. And she would stand up like, ah, and I would just laugh, right? So knowledge is power. Once you know, you are automatically free. You see, it's not knowing that's dangerous. So that's why you must have real desire for knowledge. That's what I saw. I should have put it in the shade. Just because Leo Gura is my favorite philosopher doesn't mean that I agree with everything that he says. But I know that he's doing the work that every person who's truly trying to understand what reality is should be doing. He's never held back. He's never been afraid to go to different places trying to study reality. Like, he's a true skeptic. He's not the kind of person who will be like, well, because I don't believe in Christianity, I would never go to church. If there's some pastor that seems to be performing miracles, go there and figure out how he's doing it. Figure out if he really is performing miracles. If there's a traditional doctor that seems to know some things, go there. Like, don't be ignorant. Just be sitting in your room talking about how there are no prophets in this world. There are no seers in this world. And like, no one can predict the future in this world. Like, no, talk to these people if you can. You've heard people saying bad things about ayahuasca, and you're like, I'll never try that. I'll never go to Brazil and try that. But you have enough money. Like, why not? Maybe it will change your life. Maybe it will change the way that you view reality. If you're really curious, you're not going to hold back. Because there's truth in everything. So you're going to be like, I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. Because what should you do, actually? Like, as a conscious being in a world that you do not really understand, what should you be doing? We can say, you should just be enjoying life. But you can see how how things are in this world. You can see that a lot of people are not enjoying their lives. They don't even know what to do. Even the people that are not asking questions, you know. A lot of people that I know, they're not even asking questions about life. Like, they've never asked themselves the deepest questions about life. You know, they're just, in South Africa, religion that is dominating here is Christianity. They're just Christians. They just read the Bible. No questions. They just pray, read the Bible, go to church. That's it. But they're suffering. Like, really suffering. You look at them and you're like, damn. So, because we live in a world of suffering, shouldn't we at least try to figure out what is actually going on instead of just doing whatever other people are doing, We must try to question reality. Why is this experience so hellish? Who are we? Are we trapped here? Did we choose to be here? Is there something to learn here? Do we really want this? Does this really make sense? What can we do to make our suffering more bearable? Like, how do we make ourselves stronger? Should we detach ourselves from a lot of things? Is that better? Should we learn how to love this world? Is that what's going to set us free? Should we try to understand why things are happening? If you're genuinely curious about life, you're going to learn a lot. And I think that's really, really important. In a world that you do not understand, I don't think that you must just live your life. Be like, yeah, where can I get a job? You get a job. When you go home, you're thinking about work. Get into a relationship. You're thinking about a relationship. You've never asked yourself, what is this? Look at reality as if it's yours. Because it kind of feels that way. Doesn't it? And when you open your eyes and you look around, doesn't it feel like reality is yours? It doesn't feel like you're sharing reality with anyone, does it? You might say, no, I see other people. No, I'm not talking about what you're saying. I'm talking about you, your awareness. It's not like you're sharing your awareness of reality with someone else. It's just you. Like, you're the only one who's seeing what you're seeing right now, right? You're the only one who's seeing what you're seeing right now, and you're the only one who's interpreting what you're seeing the way that you're interpreting it right now. So when you watch channels like actualize.org, you actually realize these things that I'm telling you. I like the fact that Gura puts in a lot of work. Like, he takes his time before he makes a video. He doesn't just decide that, okay, now let me just make a video. Like, he takes his time. I also do take my time, but I think because Leo's videos have to be longer, it takes more time, trying to think about what he's gonna say, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, communicate with other people, read books, watch other videos. Like he does a lot of work before he releases an episode. So I think there's so much that people can learn from his channel, especially when it comes to consciousness. I wouldn't recommend his other videos. Like he's had great videos too, about other things. But I would recommend his videos about consciousness, his videos about dreams, his videos about nature of reality, his videos about God, like what he thinks God is. It's not about you believing what he's saying. It's about you becoming more curious. Ever watched a movie that makes you more curious about life? Remember, I saw a post on Facebook from someone I know. He said, "Have you ever watched a movie with a crazy plot twist, and that actually made you question your own life? Like now you start to look at your life, you're like, hey, what's going on? What if this person is this and that? What if now you're starting to ask questions. So channels like actualize.org will help you ask the deepest questions about life. Sometimes it's not about being given answers. It's hard to tell someone what you think the truth is. You don't know if they are really ready for it. Sometimes I'll say something on this channel and I feel like a lot of people didn't understand what I said, and I'll be like, yeah, it's good that they didn't, because it means that they were not really ready for it, right? Imagine if you say something so deep and someone understands it, but it doesn't help them. It makes their life worse because they were not ready for it. Like, that would suck, right? Now, I don't make videos to make people feel bad or to make people feel worse than they're feeling. I make videos for people to relate. I tell them what I really think, and if they are able to relate, that actually makes me feel good. It's not necessarily about changing people's minds. Maybe I've made videos where I want where the intention was to change people's minds, but there are very few videos like that. Most of my videos are just about people being able to relate to what I'm saying, and that making people more curious, making people realize what they do not know, so that they don't make a lot of assumptions, because we make a lot of assumptions as humans, because we have found ourselves in a world that we don't understand. So we figured out that maybe the best way to live is to make assumptions, but that isn't the best way to live. The best way to live is to acknowledge what we do not know, acknowledge that things might not be what they seem, instead of just assuming that things are what they seem. If we already have evidence that it's possible to be in a reality where things are not what they seem, we dream. We know that in our dreams things are not what they seem, but when we are in our dreams, when we're dreaming, it feels like things are what they seem. So we cannot trust our experiences enough to think that things are what they seem. I don't really like recommending other people's channels, and one of the biggest reasons why is because I know that it's possible for me to learn something from someone, but you find that another person is not able to learn anything from that person, or not only did they not learn anything from that person, it changes them in a bad way, right? Like what that person be saying, like it changes them in a bad way. And videos from actualize that all are dangerous. Anything that has to do with the highest truth is dangerous. Could either build you or destroy you. We're talking about a guy who's not afraid to tell people that they must try psychedelics. Like that's that you should be a bit skeptical, especially if you have a channel that has more than 1 million subscribers. Like, but I shouldn't be saying that. Like that's controversial, and even if I want to say it, but it mustn't be that direct. Maybe I should just tell people about my experiences, and if they want to try it, then good. But you know what I mean. But Leo doesn't have a problem saying that to his audience. So it's not easy for me to recommend, my favorite channels on YouTube, because I know there's always something that, that's questionable, And sometimes you say things that are so radical that you're like, it's true, but I'm not sure if many people are ready for it. It's like, maybe it's true, but maybe it's not, maybe it shouldn't be said. I remember in this episode where he was interviewed by Cut, the guy, the theory of everything guy. He interviews people about consciousness, about science, about nature of reality, about evolution, about aliens. So when he was interviewing Leo said something like, there's nothing wrong with having sex with an animal, right? And he explained it, there's some things, like, even if it's true, you know what I'm saying? So there are things that you can criticize about Leo and be like, yeah, but, I don't know if that should be said, because it doesn't really help anyone. Hopefully, people reach the highest truth themselves, Yes, understanding some things can help you like evolve much faster than most people, because you won't be judging, you'll be trying to understand, right? You'll be trying to understand, so that can actually help you. But yeah, sometimes it does take it too far. So it's hard for me to recommend his work, but I feel like it has helped me a lot in my own journey, that I should recommend his work, for people who are like me, people who are still trying to grow. A lot of things that I talk about on this channel regarding consciousness, dreams, he's made videos about those things, but there's always some new things that you will, get to understand when you watch his videos. I do believe that if you are truly I just finished my water. Yeah, I do believe that if you are really into like spirituality, trying to understand what we cannot see about reality. That's what I mean by spirituality. I'm not talking about religion or anything like that. You must leave no stone unturned. You must give everything a chance. You mustn't just pick one thing and be like, yeah, this is what I like and this is what I'm going to focus on. You're never going to grow. You're going to become what you hate. I know people like me they hate ignorant people, but you're going to become ignorant. You're going to automatically become ignorant because you're only focusing on one thing, just like people who are religious. They're only focusing on one thing. I love when maybe Christians are criticizing Muslims, and I'll be like, well, they're exactly like you. They were born, the only difference is that they were born in countries that are dominated by people who believe in Islam. You know, so there's the reason why they're Muslims. You're born in a country that's dominated by people who believe in Christianity. That's the reason why you're a Christian. So why should you be criticizing them? This reminds me of this episode by South Park about psychics. People who believe that they had some superpowers. They would fight using their superpowers, but nothing will be happening. You know? They will be just trying to perform some spells and nothing will happen. And they will believe that something is happening, so it's kind of like what it reminds me of. So you must have a mind that's open to everything. You must be willing to explore everything. That's how you get to figure out what is the highest truth. You shouldn't limit yourself. You shouldn't pretend as if you already know if you don't. It's not easy to understand consciousness. And one of the reasons why it's not easy to understand consciousness is because everything is happening within consciousness. And you are at the center of everything. It's not like you can be outside of consciousness and you view consciousness and you're like, oh, that's consciousness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you are at the center of consciousness. And you don't know how reality is being created. You just see things happening. Or sometimes you think about some things and then they happen and you're like, how did that happen? Sometimes you feel a certain way and you find that a lot of bad things are happening because of how you feel. But you don't know for sure how reality is being created. So that means that you must always keep an open mind. I think that's how you become powerful. But if you tell yourself that I know what's going on, this is what's going on. You know, some people do comment on my videos like, oh, this is what's going on, this and that. It's like, no. Just keep an open mind. Try to understand what I'm actually saying. And try to pretend as if what I'm saying is true. And try to figure out what that would mean. That would mean about life, that would mean about who you are. There's growth. There will be growth, like when you do that, than to always try to only focus on what you think you know or what makes you feel comfortable. Of course, you must always be skeptical. There must be a part of you that's like, that acknowledge the truth, which is that you don't really know for sure. But so far, we can go with what makes more sense than anything else. And when you look at what's going on, what makes more sense than anything else? Does believing in Christianity make more sense than anything else? Does believing in science make more sense than anything else? Does believing in evolution make more sense than anything else? Does believing in materialism make more sense than anything else? Does believing in idealism make more sense than anything else? You must seek knowledge. Without knowledge, you are totally powerless. Like, totally. You see, with knowledge, you don't necessarily need to have superpowers. Like, if you have knowledge, you don't even have to have superpowers. You just, like, knowledge is the real power, bro. Like, you will be powerful automatically. Because you know what to do. When you have challenges in your life, you know what to do. Imagine if there was a way to shift to another parallel universe where things are a bit different and you figured out how to do that. That's power. That would require knowledge. If you knew what was going on, you'd know what you need to be doing now. You'd know the kind of work that you need to be doing. So yeah, if there was an episode that I would recommend that everyone must watch from the Gura, is his video about solipsism. Just search for Leo Gura's last episode. It's a very brilliant episode. He talks about, like, for me, it's the best video about solipsism. And I remember I'll comment on these videos telling him to talk about solipsism, because solipsism made sense to me for the longest time. So I was glad when I heard that he made a video about solipsism, but I was disappointed when I couldn't find it because it was deleted. But fortunately, someone re-uploaded it, and it was like the best video that is ever made. His reason for deleting it was that even like people, it will not help people. Like, what if it doesn't help people? What if it makes people's lives worse? And you might say, but that's a contradiction, because if solipsism is true, then no one will be hurt by that episode. But the truth is, even if this is your story and you are the only one in this story, you also want to have a relationship with people that's a certain way. Like, just because it's like if you're watching a movie, do you want the movie to be boring because it's not real? I remember in the last episode that I published, I spoke about Game of Thrones. That the ending of Game of Thrones was garbage. Like, everyone was disappointed. It's just a fucking movie. I mean, it's just a series. Should it matter? Should people be disappointed? No, but they are, because they want a great story. So, yeah, he doesn't want a story where some lady is saying that she's affected mentally because she watched that episode. You know, now she doesn't know how to go on with her life because she watched that episode. So that's the reason why I deleted it. He doesn't want that to be the story, right? So yeah, his episode about solipsism is one of my favorite, but also all these episodes about dreams. I think there's an episode called Life is a Dream, and he explains why there's no difference between your sleeping dreams and what's happening in this reality. And I think it's a very brilliant episode. It's not very long like his other episodes, but it's a very, very brilliant episode. So when it comes to nature of reality, nature of consciousness, I think he's the guy that you should be, paying attention to, especially his videos from 2017 until 2023. Yeah. These videos from 2017 between 2017 and 2023, like the videos they uploaded around that time. Yeah, I remember someone suggested a topic for me to talk about, but before I came here, there was no electricity, so I wasn't connected to the internet because I wanted to check what the topic was. But that is not a problem. On the next video, I will talk about the topic that you guys suggested. Maybe I'll talk about 2 or 3 topics. So yeah, if you want me to talk about something, just tell me in the comment and I will talk about that. But let me think of some topic that I can talk about towards the end of this video. Oh, actually, now I remember the topic that was suggested by someone. Now I remember. It had to do with reptilians. So this person was asking me that what are the chances that the people who actually run the world are reptilians? Like, what are the chances of that being true? What are the chances of that not being true? What are the chances of the people being ran by normal human beings who know nothing at all, who are just they don't know anything, they don't know secrets of the universe, they don't have some superpowers that we are not aware of. It ought to be like they know nothing. They're just like me and you, they just grew up and somehow they were privileged enough to find themselves becoming powerful in this realm. I don't know. I think chances of that being true are very low. It seems like to really get to the top, you must have something special, I mean, how do you control humans? Do you control humans if you don't look like them? Human beings are rebellious, bro. They don't gonna like the best way to control humans is if you had technology that would make you look like them, even if you're not like them. You'll be able to control them easily. So chances of this world being controlled by reptilians are high. Or not reptilians, but some beings that are able to shape shift. We might not want to call them reptilians. It's just that everyone thinks that there's reptilians that can shape shift. So that's why, I call them reptilians. But what if there are beings that can shape shift, that they can use technology to shape shift, or that have technology that allows them to look that maybe they can create a costume that makes them look like anyone. I remember Hobson said something like that. Like he was supposed to be Young Thug, I think he said he was supposed to be Young Thug. But Hobson, likes to troll. But I thought it was interesting that he would say something like that. Like they wanted him to be the Young Thug, but he refused to wear a costume. You find that once you wear it, you adopt the guy's mannerism. You kind of even inherit his memories, personality, feelings, maybe. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like there's obviously a lot that's going on. There's this TV show that got cancelled. It was an animated TV show. What was it called? Damn, I forgot what it was called. But it was like it's all like they were exploring conspiracy theories about the world being ran by reptilians, them having technology to create people that seem real but that are not even real, that are just robots. Like it was very interesting animated series. You watch it and it makes you question what kind of world that you're actually living in. Like we know too little to think that things are what they seem in this realm. I mean, do you think that someone like you who knows nothing about what's going on will become the president of your country like that? What are the chances of that happening? It does seem to me that there are forces that are working behind the scenes that want the world to be a certain way, and they have to be working behind the scenes to turn the world into what they want it to be. Like, it isn't something that's gonna happen randomly. They have to be working tirelessly behind the scenes, and that's why things remain the same. Find that they know a lot of things that we do not know. Compared to them, we're like goats. You know, the goats don't know shit. They just be seeing cars moving around, not knowing why, where they're coming from. They just want to eat grass and that's it. They look at us, maybe think that we're gods. I don't even know how a God sees a human. But maybe that's how the people who run the world look at us. Be like, they know nothing, and we can easily control them. We can tell them what to do, what to think. They can predict our behavior because they train us, the same way that if you have a dog, you'll train it to be a certain way. So they train us in different ways, not just in one way, to be the way that they want us to be, and that makes it easy for them to control us. Because just like other animals, human beings are programmable. In fact, human beings are much easier to program than other animals, because other animals don't talk, right? That's why when you watch a video where dolphins are performing some tricks, you're like, damn, how did they train those dolphins? Because the dolphins don't, even though they're intelligent, but do they really understand humans like that? But human beings are very, very easy to train because they understand language. If it was easy to communicate with animals, I do think we would actually teach animals to use how to use computers, and they'll be able to. Thank you guys for watching this video until the end. Like, subscribe, share the video. Tell me what you'd like to see me talk about. Thank you.